Are you ready?
Yes.
Right Club audience, for the last and final time, and probably ever in this fucking building, are you ready?
Okay, I'm a travel writer, and between the years of 2017 and 2018, I lived in only countries that don't exist, for the sole purpose of finding out what a country is in the first place. Here's what I found out after living in Kurdistan, Kosovo, Transnistria, Liberland, and also Somaliland. Everything is made up. We as human beings are naked apes with interesting haircuts that are trying to sell one another in various multi-level marketing schemes constantly. Nations are illusions, taxes, subscription schemes to those illusions. But just because they're illusions does not necessarily mean that they're unimportant. No, actually, that's why they're the most important things in the universe. Stories are the invisible architecture upon which the world is predicated. I shit you not. The difference between charity and profit is the story you tell yourself around a transfer of wealth.
Yeah.
This is a true story I will tell you from my year of living statelessly. I encourage you to fact check it because it sounds like bullshit as I say it. Here it goes. In 2018, I was the ambassador to Somaliland. I was not the U.S. ambassador to Somaliland. Somaliland is a breakaway nation which forms the northern half of Somalia. The United States does not recognize Somaliland as an independent country. I was the Liberland ambassador to Somaliland. Liberland is a cryptocurrency-based libertarian microstate which occupies an empty island between Bosnia, Croatia, and Serbia. I met their president on the back of a jet ski during their 3-year anniversary. That's an entirely different story, and we can keep this shit moving. Shortly after the jet ski, the president asked me where my next stop on my stateless country world tour was, and I told him Somaliland. He casually said that we have an embassy in Somaliland, but sadly they had lost their ambassador. He asked me if I wanted the job. Given the fact that I had a plane ticket to Somalia and no place to stay and around $300 to my name, I accepted the position without asking what had happened to the former ambassador to Somaliland. I still don't know what happened. I landed in Hargeisa, Somaliland, and I was taken to the Liberland embassy. It was a heavily fortified hilltop guarded by iron gates meant to stop car bombs. They were guarded by men with AK-47s who were visibly high on the local narcotic, which is a chewable leaf called khat. It's awesome. I was under the protection of Liberland, and for better or for worse, I had to believe the story that I was telling. The story I was telling was not that I was an ambassador, it was that I was an ambassador, and it was not that I was a failed or failing travel writer. The embassy, as it turned out, was a 9-room mansion with a papaya grove, 2 banquet halls, a housekeeper, and an armed guard named Eid.
What?
It was completely empty, except for my bed and 12 metal chairs that had never gotten an answer as to who put those there. I was given 2 tasks as the ambassador to Somaliland. 1, establish political, diplomatic, and economic ties from Liberland to Somaliland. 2, buy furniture for the embassy. The second task was much more difficult than the first, during Ramadan. Then everything changed, because Cyclone Sagar blew through the Horn of Africa. Key infrastructure was destroyed, livestock was wiped out, locals were displaced or killed through flooding and disease. I got a call from the Secretary of State of Liberland, and he informed me of my 3rd job: organize humanitarian aid to the people of Somaliland from the people of Liberland. At this point, I realized I was deeply in over my head. I had been a diplomat for 1 week. And I learned something important about international politics. Never let a tragedy go to waste. Because the true power of charity is that it is a gift which broadcasts a story about the giver. A country is nothing but a series of stories that we are born into, and we can either accept or deny them. A new country has to be built on stories. I, as their new ambassador, had one thing to do. They said feed nomads. My job was to say how many, not that I was a travel writer. Liberland gave me $15,000 in USD, which I put in my backpack. And while I walked through downtown Hargeisa, Somalia, with $15,000 in my backpack, I was feeling very kidnappable. And I realized that my theater degree from Cal State Fullerton had not prepared me for this. I thought to myself, was I doing this to help a non-existent country, or was I doing it just to help my book, or was it doing it to help nomads that I literally just found out about a week ago? I don't know. I'm a travel writer who sucks at travel writing, apparently. I needed help, and help, thank God, thank Allah, came to me in the form of a man, a Somali man named Abdul Rahman. Now, Abdul Rahman, oh, those lights are coming on way too early, is a head shorter than me, and he had gold-rimmed glasses and a Cheshire cat grin, and I explained to him that I was the acting ambassador to a new European nation. I had no idea what I was doing, and I still had to give aid to Somali nomads who were dying of cholera in the Somali desert, and he patted my knee, and he looked at me, and he said, I am your Somali daddy. Which, in Africa, sounds a lot more heartwarming than it does here in Hollywood. Abdul Rahman took me to see the vice president of Somaliland, and I was a diplomat for 2 weeks, and the vice president arranged for soldiers to take us out to the desert to guard us from jihadists who were deep in the desert, possibly wanting to rob our caravan of aid, which had carried 7 tons of food. We got up before sunrise, and Abdul Rahman and the soldiers were protecting us. They wanted to pray at the mosque before we went into the desert. I prayed too.